Hi, my name is Lidija Vukovic and I'm coming from Croatia. I've been in the United States for 7 years so far. I work as a special educator at Andover High School. I really enjoy my work. It's really interesting. I love working with kids. But what I also like doing is art. I started my fine arts when I was 16. I got the invitation for international fashion show. I don't know how they found me, but I was very excited with the invitation. I was in an art school, high school, and I took some advices from my teachers, what should I do? Because I didn't have so much money to invest in fancy materials, and only sewing I did was a hand sewing. So I decided to make hats and to make it the most interesting that I could. As my school was across from the beach, I found some sand, so I started making sand hats. Wire net is the base, and then what I did, I put some fabric, I glue fabric, and then I would glue the sand over it. That's what I did with all the other materials that I was using. So this is one of the hats that I exhibited in British Columbia 2 years ago. It represents the little cave and a guy inside. I like to create those hidden spaces and then wonder myself what's inside and what can I put inside. This is one of the hats. This is the example of glass hats. I broke pieces of glass and then I glue them on a base, and this is how it should be on the head. People worry that they're going to break them, but I always warn people that they should be careful about them because they're kind of dangerous and sharp. While I was doing hats, I had one of the passions, and that was ceramics, which was part of the class that I had in school of sculpture, and that was my first job actually, working in ceramic atelier. I worked for 2 companies and I was making miniatures, and I enjoyed making the small details in a clay. I love clay very much. This is my self-portrait. This should be me. It was the photo that I had when I was 16, and I really like it. It was a very happy photo, and one of my friends told me after we took those photos, "Lidija, look, you're so happy here." So it kind of, I wanted to capture this moment in clay as well, in miniatures, what I actually like to do. This is Medusa, that's how I called her. Even though she doesn't have snakes, she has like an octopus head. But I enjoy making faces, and this was maybe transition for what I was gonna do later. This work is my first work that I transitioned from doing hats and ceramics to doing paintings. It was part of my independent study at college. I tried acrylics, but it didn't work so well. And then my teacher suggested me to use some thicker paste and to build reliefs, to build 3D dimensions, to make a 3-dimensional work. And then at the same time, I found this interesting article in National Geographic about the bog bodies preserved in bogs in Northern Europe, Scotland, Norway, and Ireland. So the bog bodies were inspiration for me to use these earthly colors and to represent my paintings to look organic and to look green and brown. and these are the colors that I like the most. So I started building, and I just take this paste and put the thick layers of paste on canvas, and I saw the faces that I can draw out from the paste. So I started making faces and incorporated in branches, which were bogs, and that's how ideas started for me. I like using dark colors. Some people say they're too dark and even asking me if there's something wrong. It's not. I just like to represent my work. I like pop art and bright colors, warm colors. But I don't think that would work well with my paintings, as people suggest. Some people suggest that I should do it like brighter. I just enjoy the way it is. I enjoy when I saturate them with browns and greens and blues, and then I can erase the surface and get these images out. That's what I like the most, which I wouldn't be able to do if I used very light colors, and I wouldn't enjoy it. This is one of the newer paintings. Actually, I made it 2 years ago, but I had a different approach. I wanted to start and make larger scale paintings, and then making faces, like drawing out faces that are not so explicit that you really need to look for. And this painting was in one of my recent exhibits. People were not able to see faces right away. The painting was interesting, but they didn't know what was going on. And then when they stepped back, they were like, "Oh, wow! I see faces," and they were counting faces. And that's the most exciting thing for me, because they're exploring something new, which I do as well. I made those faces and bodies, and I forgot that I put them there. And then when I go back and look at my paintings, I found those faces and bodies, like, oh, they're there. So it's always like the process for me as well. So this is one of my newer paintings as well. I wanted to incorporate like fashion, style into my paintings. Make the bog lady, make her a modern woman, like emancipation of Bog Bodies. This painting is going to be, the name of this painting is going to be The Memories, which are not my memories, but just the memories. So she's so fancy and dressy, but I want to put in a background that she has lots of things going on in her life, as we all do. So this is how I start. The only thing I think about before I start, the only plan I have is if I'm gonna do small scale or large scale work. When I decide, I just take pesto knife, I take lots of paste, depends how much I need for the scale I'm doing. And then I start putting paste on canvas. At this point, I don't have the idea what I'm gonna do, which is good, because I don't want to have the idea what I want to do. I want paste to direct me, to lead me there. What's it gonna be? I want to put layers, and then I want to look at it and I want to see if I see the whole bodies, if I see the faces. So this can turn out being a long shaped body with hands and legs and lots of flying hair around. And if I don't like it, I can just twist it and shape it into portrait. So I can move this body, which I haven't finished because I didn't like it so much. I didn't like the expression. I can turn it into, change my way and turn it into face. I'm going to start with nose. So this is the first shape of the face that I can leave it this way just to do a few more touches, but then I can also reshape it and go a different way. I like to connect whatever I make. I like to connect it with the canvas. I like to extend those lines and kind of make the base reaching outside of the canvas and holding it. And this is the other example of hands holding canvas. They're reaching out. The Bog Bodies relate to my studies when I was in college of oceanography, history, and geography, learning about planet and constant change, how the Earth rejuvenates life. But then I found Bog Bodies, which still exist, like dating 2,000 years back, even more, some. And it made me wonder about this constant change and oblivion and think that some things actually stay with us and are still here. So this was my idea how to relate to that.